I think it's pretty clear now that people like Michelle Rempel and the conservatives do not support freedom of speech whatsoever. And if you are a conservative, you should hold their feet to the fire. It came out the other day on Maxime Bernier's Twitter that he was sharing around that you see a picture of Michelle Rempel shaking hands with that Morgan ogre person that, sued this one anti-gay activist to pay her $55,000 for misgendering her. The conservatives were completely silent on that. Nothing whatsoever because they're too afraid that the media is going to smear them as bigots and transphobes, etc. And then also, this is the same organization that is trying to get parents or their children removed from parents by the government to then put them on transgender drugs, whether or not the parents want it. So at the age of, I don't know, 14 or even younger, I'm not too sure, but it's ridiculous. And you don't have the conservatives calling this out whatsoever. And they're practically endorsing it. The silence is deafening, and the silence is an endorsement, especially when there's pictures of Michelle Rempel like smiling and being like, I'm like good friends with this person. But this person is a dictator, right? They're an authoritarian. They're trying to get everybody to comply to their will through this state. They're going to make you pay $55,000 because you misgender them, because you hurt their feelings. They want your freedom of speech to be, they want their rights of not, their feelings not being hurt to supersede your right of freedom of speech, which is ridiculous. And you have these conservatives not even calling it out whatsoever, like Michelle Rempel and whatnot. So go to their YouTube, go to their Twitter, and call out Michelle Rempel. Say, hey, why don't you support freedom of speech? Why don't you call this out? Are you afraid? What's wrong with you? You don't have to be, okay, don't insult her. You don't have to be mean or anything, because then they'll just justify her blocking you. But give a good question, make a good question, give it to her, and then see what she says. But at least hold her feet to the fire. Be like, this is a free speech issue here, and we could really use conservatives coming out and supporting this man or this person and calling it out. And let's see what she does to you. We'll see. I have a feeling you might get blocked. I have a feeling, but I recommend the people that are conservative here that are going to vote for Andrew Scheer, go and do that. And, this is another reason why the conservatives always lose, and how we are also complicit, and why the conservatives have continuously gone further and further left over the years, because nobody's calling them out. They're like, oh, well, I guess it's, but he's better than Trudeau. He's better than Trudeau, at least. And that damn Maxime Bernier over there splitting the vote by calling out things like this that are against freedom of speech and whatnot. Oh, that bastard, he needs to just keep quiet and stop doing this. He needs to stop bringing up immigration and mass immigration and taking away votes because of that. It's funny. It's like you're splitting the vote, but he's only splitting the vote in a sense because you don't have the balls to come out as a true conservative. And all it would take would you be like, is you being like, no, I support freedom of speech. This is ridiculous, the judgment that is happening to this guy through that Morgan organization that is forcing him to give his daughter or son up to his wife to then go on transgender therapy, right? And when kids start that treatment, that is effectively sterilizing them for life. So it's really destructive what the government, what the state is doing, and how no party is calling it out except for Maxime Bernier. The NDP are quiet, the Greens are quiet, the Liberals are quiet, the Conservatives are quiet, and at least he's calling it out. But you got these dumb NPC Conservatives, they're like, you stay quiet, Maxime Bernier, you're splitting the vote. Oh man, guys, Wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up to the party. The party is not going to change when you voted in. They're not going to all of a sudden pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement. They're not going to pull out of the Migration UN Pact. They voted, they signed into that. Scheer whipped his cabinet to get into the Paris Climate Agreement. You know, the Migration Pact, Michelle Rempel herself said before everybody pushed her on it and said, what the hell, we're being signed into this. She was like, don't worry, guys, it's a non-binding agreement. Don't worry. So, guys, pay attention to what these people are saying. They're telling you how they're going to act. They're telling you how they're going to govern you, right? They don't even have the balls to release a platform when it comes to climate, when it comes to immigration. But the stuff that they do tell you is telling you they're going to try to straddle the middle, straddle the center, and we're going to get conservatives like Theresa May and the Tories in the UK. That's what we're going to get. These pussies, these cuck-servatives, that's what's going to be in Canada if you don't have the populace at least calling out your leaders as well. But they're stuck in this, duality of the two-party type system where they're like, well, we got to get Trudeau out no matter what, and we can't really call out our party and hold them to any account because that could make Trudeau win. You can't punch right or anything whatsoever. You can't call them out when they're doing bad stuff because that could give Trudeau a victory. It's like, well, you're never going to get the party you want then. You're never going to get any real change, and all you're ever going to get is a party that progressively moves left. It's never going to stop that leftward move. It's always going to go there because you don't have any type of counterbalance to balance it out, like Max's party. A lot of the things that you're going to start to see them try to adopt some of his policy positions, right, in the future. And if he keeps hitting on this immigration, he's going to get more and more popular because there is going to be a rising anti-immigration wave. There's not anti-immigrant. We're not going to hate immigrants, but the people are waking up to immigration. Most Canadians think our immigration is at 100,000 per year. They don't know it's at 300,000. So we got to wake people up to this. Go tell people individually in your own life. Tell them how much immigration, how much Trudeau wants to increase immigration. There's also a good article by the Vancouver Sun by this Douglas Todd guy, and he talks about how immigration, and I know I was talking about this with Fredrick and a couple other people, and they're saying we need concrete numbers to present to people to show that their math is wrong, because you hear from the left that we need to bring in immigrants to pay for pensions, pay for all of this stuff, right? So a good argument to that is that article that kind of goes, and I think the Fraser Institute did some research on it, and in order to pay for all the things that they say we need to pay for, they would need to bring in 15-year-old orphans with no family, because what happens right now with immigration is they bring in their elderly family, all these dependents, so it kind of takes away any of the benefit that you get from bringing these people in to pay for the system. Now we're going to have to pay for all these old people. So the math makes no sense. You would need to bring in 15-year-old orphans, and you need to bring in like more than 1 million people a year, like 1.5 million people a year for many years on end for us to even be able to pay off these old pension things, right? So it's all bullshit, because if you were to bring in that many people a year, we don't have the industry, or not the industry. We don't have the jobs to support that many people. We don't have the infrastructure to support that many people. So it's impossible. It's impossible. Just like paying for the climate, or paying off the, like the UN. They said they want a $5,000 price on every ton of carbon to make a difference, but we're only doing 20, 30, 40. So it's all bullshit. It's just a tax grab. There's no way we could ever achieve a $5,000 fucking price tag on oil and gas and all that stuff, right? That's impossible. It's clearly just a way to get more of your money. And the conservatives aren't calling them out because they want more of your money too. You know, like you think about the SNC Lavalin thing. That's also something that called them out, that kind of exposed them, because all they're worried about was Trudeau influencing the prosecution, where that's a big deal. But the real issue was in 2018, Trudeau changing the law to allow Jody Wilson-Raybould to influence the prosecution to give a deferred prosecution agreement, right? That didn't exist. That ability to do that didn't exist until 2018. So that's the bigger issue, but they never called that out because they're like, hey, we could use this too to give money to our buddies. So, you know, open your eyes, guys, to conservatives in the way that they're acting right now, and start supporting parties that, or people at least, that are saying things, that are calling out things like the Morgan Ogre girl, that actually cares about freedom of speech to some extent, more so than the opponents, because we need that desperately right now in Canada. And like I said, go and hold Michelle Rempel's feet to the fire. Go call her out for this. If you are a conservative and you're voting for Andrew Scheer, go call them out immediately. But that's all I pretty much had to say, guys. If you like my content, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description below. I'm on Gab, Minds, all that other stuff, because Twitter has permanently suspended me for a long time now. But yeah, check out all those other links. Share the video as well, because this stuff is getting suppressed. A lot of our stuff is getting suppressed. And sharing is a good way to help right now, because you know the notifications don't get shown, etc. But either way, guys, have a good night or a good day and take it easy. See ya.